You're listening to the Surrendered Podcast, where we discuss marriage and parenting for women seeking to honor God through our daily lives.
Welcome to the Surrendered Life Podcast. My name is Rachel, and we're so happy to have you on here with us today. Today, I'm joined by my husband, who's been on here several times now. So hopefully
guys.
you remember him, Alex. So I think last time we talked about just like things we've learned in our marriage, and then we talked about parenting. And so today we're going to kind of just like talk back and forth about, we want to just not necessarily talk about the hard things we've been through, but we're going to instead today focus on how to create good moments, good memories in your home. Because obviously it's very important to navigate the hard, but you also want to pursue the good together. Because if you're always looking at fixing the problem, sometimes that can be the glass you only see, the perspective you only see. And it's so important that you create good memories, good moments together in your home for your family. So,
Right. Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me back on.
You're welcome.
I think the main takeaway for us is, I think, understand that good marriages don't happen by accident, and it requires you to be intentional and requires you to have a real level of buy-in, both the man and the wife together working towards creating good memories.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, kind of the first thing is kind of a review of things we've talked about. If you are new to the podcast, I really encourage you to go back and look at our first 15 podcast episodes, because I dig deep into a lot of marital things that we've learned, some of them the hard way. And so this is kind of a little bit of a recap of things we've covered before, but it's so important that you have these things that you're working towards in order to build good memories the right way. So kind of the first thing I wanted to say was that happy moments together happen organically when you have a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not something you're having to force. You know, have you ever seen those pictures where the lady's yelling at everybody because they're about to go on vacation, and it's all right, we're about to start having fun, and everybody's like, ooh, not a minute before that, clearly.
The kids and dad are just terrified of mom.
I don't even want to go have fun with you right now because you're forcing it down my throat, you know? So you don't want that kind of good moment. I'm sure you can relate. There's been times where we've had great social media pictures, but behind that is a screaming kid, a screaming parent. Everybody's mad, you know, and you that's not the kind of good moments I'm talking about. So it does come from a healthy relationship. And so things that we've talked about before, intimacy is so, so, so important. If you and your spouse are not physically intimate, and again, I have an episode about that, go back and listen to it, but also communicating vulnerably, spending time just you and your spouse. And I've heard from some parents recently that are like, well, my kid sleeps in my bed, so we don't really get that time. Listen, maybe y'all need to go to the living room and just spend you two time alone. I don't care how you do it. You have to spend time just you and your spouse. It cannot be a kid with you 24/7.
You know, Micah, he was in our bed for about 2 years, and that was when we were not getting along that great.
Yeah.
We were kind of going through a dry spell
Yeah.
with our physical intimacy. And I think I don't want to blame the kid, but it was a big hindrance in that.
It was.
And it was brick by brick, night by night, just building a wall between us.
Yeah.
And so when Micah finally, it took a lot of work, and it took a couple of really hard nights, but it was only 2 or 3 nights, if I recall.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't bad at all, but we did the hard work because we wanted our space back. We wanted our room back.
Yeah.
And so, I know that a lot of parents co-sleep, and that's kind of been your dynamic. I would really just challenge you to change that for the sake of your marriage.
Well, and I think every couple is different. So for us, we co-slept for seasons. We didn't do it forever, but I don't even think it's necessarily the end all be all if your kid's in your bed. I get that, because sometimes it is easier for you to be able to sleep. But if you're going to have a kid in your bed, you have to prioritize you and your spouse. Have to have that time
somewhere else
every single day. Obviously there's exceptions, but that needs to be a priority. And then communication. We've talked about this before, but don't just assume your spouse knows what you need. Like Alex can walk into a room and I'm very overstimulated, but if I don't tell him exactly what will help me regulate, like what will help take something off my shoulders, he's just going to start guessing. And odds are he's not going to guess correctly because his overstimulation looks very different than mine. And so you need to be able to say specifically what you need in those moments. And then, just remember that you're on the same team. They're not your enemy. They're not the problem with everything that's happened in your day. You're on the same team. And so that is such a key to creating happy moments that aren't driven by competition. Because you don't want that dynamic in your house either, like mom versus dad. Who's doing more with the kids? Who's having more fun? Like, that's not it. You need to remember you're on the same team. And so from there, I would just challenge you that the second thing I kind of wanted to say was your family deserves the very best version of you. And so I think it's so easy for us to get caught up in we're nicer in front of other people. Social media sees the best version of everybody. That's not new. But do your friends get the best version of you, or does your spouse get the best version of you? Like, how easy is it for your spouse to just get what's left over?
I think it's easy to let your wife get the leftovers from you because, like you said, you tend to curate parts of your life, whether on social media or even at work. You try to put your best foot forward in front of everybody else. And I know how you get there because I've been there. It's like, hey, this woman loves me no matter what, and so she's going to get the worst version of me because she promised me that she would still love me on that stage on our wedding day. And so I think it's easy for us to kind of abuse that, but that's not God's design, and that's not God's best for our marriage. And so we talked about kind of how hard year 5 was for our marriage, and how that was for me a turning point to where I was never gonna just check out. I was never just gonna let myself slide away from giving you a better version of me than what I was currently giving you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I've had this also happen where like Micah, my son, will be like, "Wow, when other kids are over here, you let us do more, or you maybe don't ever get angry at us and things like that." And so like I've been challenged by my older kid who will tell me like, that for me, it hits me because it's like, well, that means that I'm being a different version in front of other people. And I don't want to be that. I really pursue authenticity. I think that's so important for our kids to see because so many people are different at church than they are at home. And that's why we have people walking away from the Lord all the time. And so I think it's so important that we be who we are all the time. And this is a way to do that, is be the kind of parent you are in front of other people. But if you're being your worst version with your own kids, you're being your worst version with your spouse, you're not going to create happy memories and moments because they see who you choose to be for everyone else, and that's going to make them feel unvalued.
Yeah, I've said it like this, kind of in a ministry context, and this is not original to me, but whatever you care about, make that forward facing. And so, if you say you care about, from a ministry context, if I care about the church singing back with me, well, I need to make sure that's forward facing, or else I don't really care about it. I think the same thing applies, and this has been a good motivating factor for me as a husband. Is what do I want to be known for? I want to be known as a husband who cares about his wife, who puts her first, who loves his kids, who's patient with his kids. And so I try to be what I say I care about.
Yeah.
And that does take effort, but I think that's good and right. And
Yeah.
I think that does require you to kind of stay locked in as a dad, stay locked in as a husband, and just know that when you're coming home, you guys switch that thing, because I think for so many men, it's hard to just shut it all off.
Yeah.
When you come home, because you're exhausted. Yes, you've had a long day. There were days where I had marathons of meetings, and I came home just exhausted. And you're going to give me grace on those days, but that's not every single day. And I've had to get into the habit of getting into a mindset shift of going from Alex at work to Alex at home, to being a husband and a dad. Because I mean, I'll tell you this: our kids are young, and my daughter spells love Time,
Yes.
and it's a lot of fun. In my mind, it's so much fun to come home to hear them yell "daddy" and have them run. But in reality, it's like, I'm exhausted. Kids, go away,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it's whatever I care about, I make sure that's forward
Yeah.
facing, and
Yeah.
that's what I put my effort towards,
Mm-hmm.
because what you do care about. So
Yeah.
if you say you care about this, then do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think even in that same context, we could ask ourselves this question too, like, we say that we want our kids to become like the Lord. We want to see them sanctified. We want to see them grow in Christ
Mm.
likeness. How much are you pursuing the Lord and them seeing you do that in the home? Because sometimes it's not about like talking about the Lord. Yes, I think we do a great job of talking about the Lord in our
Mhm.
homes, but they don't get it by just being spoken to. They get it by seeing it lived out.
Right.
And so if you want this home that creates a gospel centered environment, we have to ask ourselves, okay, am I pursuing grace? Am I pursuing love? The very things I'm telling them to be to each other, am I modeling that?
Right.
Because they're not going to get it if I'm not modeling it,
Yeah. And I think people in general are that way too.
Mhm.
They want to see you walk the walk. And
Absolutely.
I think, because that's true, your kids are very much the same,
Yes.
because they're going to grow up with these memories
Mhm.
of how, dad's a worship pastor and he was different on Sunday than he was
Yeah.
on Monday.
Yeah.
And every pastor's kid that I
Yeah.
know, half of them resent their parents
Mhm.
because of how they acted different at home.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's definitely something I don't want to hear one day when our kids are grown, that yeah, y'all worked in ministry, but I just learned that, you guys knew a lot about the Lord, but I didn't learn how to walk it until later on. I don't want that to be the case. We're not going to be perfect, but that's definitely something I want to pursue in our life. And so bringing that back to like creating good memories, you have to give your best versions to your kids.
Mhm.
And so you have to give your spouse your best version of you. You want to create happy moments together. Your friends don't get the very best of you. Your family deserves to have the very best of you.
Yeah.
They are your first mission field, and your relationship with your husband is more important than your kids. And so you have to prioritize giving each of them time.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a precursor, I feel like, to creating those happy memories, happy moments together.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the foundation you're building it upon. And so
Yeah.
from there, I just thought we would talk about like kind of the final thing is just like prioritize spending quality time together. And so obviously with your spouse, you do need to go on dates.
Yeah.
Like we've lived for the past 5 years away from family. And so that was much harder to go on dates. And so we didn't have a lot of extra money. And so we would go on dates when we could. But we tried to do it like once a month.
Like, our date money was to pay a babysitter, and then the gift card we just got
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
how we
Because
bought our meal.
because if you want to go to dinner and a movie and pay a babysitter nowadays, you're looking at a lot of money.
These kids
you
know what they're worth now.
Yes. And so we got too many kids. That's the So
Yeah.
it was just not able to happen as much. Since we've moved back closer to family,
What I say at dinner tonight?
we've been on more dates in the past month
Yeah.
than we have in the past probably year,
We
I would
just
say.
we just came from a dinner date.
Literally just came from a date. And so I think that's why we're able to sit down and talk more even on the podcast, because we're having more time uninterrupted by our children than we're used to having.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah, I think it's important to prioritize. We're talking about prioritizing and making good memories. I think there are big memories, and then there are daily memories.
Absolutely.
So like I'll just kind of go through for me when I get home from work. Um, I gotta pick which kid I'm gonna love on first, right?
Yep.
So Ruthie's current thing is she loves Candyland, and we play it
Loves games.
5 times in a row.
Yep.
And then my youngest Samuel wants to either wrestle or play with dinosaurs or Spider-Man. And my oldest son Micah wants to tell me about his day. He's 10 now, and so he wants he wants to converse more than he used to.
Mm-hmm.
He begs me to play Legos with him, and just kind of wants to talk. I always make sure that I neglect them for a minute to make sure you get 10 minutes of just
Yeah.
talking with me,
Yeah.
because I understand that I might be the first adult you talk to
Probably.
in 4 hours,
Yep.
6 hours,
Yep.
and so it's important to me that I ask you how your day was,
Mhm.
who did you talk to, and let you just talk to an adult for a minute.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't ever say much. I try to ask you how your day was, and
Yeah.
there's some days where I got a lot to talk about, but
Yeah.
I try to make it about you and your
Mhm.
day, what you've done with either with the kids or
Yeah.
who you talked to on Marco. So those are some daily things that I always try to make sure I touch everyone in the household
Yeah.
in some kind of way.
Mhm.
And then the big memories are vacations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
those like core memories that we're gonna make together. All those trips
Yes.
to Disney World that we went on or
Mhm.
whatever have you. So
Yes. And so like yeah, I was going to say something similar like about our kids. I am if you're like me, I am not an or like a natural let me just sit in the floor and play with you because I'm a to-do list person and
mhm,
so I want to be productive. I want to look back at my day and see that I did something. I want to see that it was productive. And so my aunt Becky who's been a mentor in my life for most of my life. She told me one time that she was the same way. And so she would write down on her to do list, play with kids, sit and read a book. And that changed everything for me
yeah,
because I used to look at that as unproductive time when I
right,
could be doing laundry or I could be, cleaning the dishes or I could be doing all these other things that are way more important in my brain.
sure,
And now I write down on my to do list every day, hey, I need to go outside and play tennis with Micah because that's our thing. Me and him play tennis or pickleball most every day. Now,
most every day.
sometimes it's only 20 minutes. We're living in a cove right now. And so we go out there just about every day. And then Ruthie, board games, card games. We play Uno, we play Candyland, we play Phase 10. And then Samuel, anything really, because he's 2.5.
He's 2.5,
We
yeah.
play really most of my time with him is trying to get him, to do like little color games and sorting and things like that.
He likes
But
to just be a part of what's going on,
whatever's going
honestly.
on.
Yeah.
But it is so important. Like, I think sometimes we have to have these big moments, these like themed activities, this Pinterest board of a day with our kids, or else they're going to forget it. And that is so not true. You can do that if that's who you are. Like, absolutely. Like, I have some friends in my life that I am inspired by how much they do at home with their kids. And it's incredible. But if that's not you, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like your kids are going to remember that you got in the floor with them and played with them just as much as they're going to remember these big vacations because time is what it shows that you're interested in what they're doing. That's creating
Yeah.
those core memories.
I think in the same way, it's so important to prioritize your spouse with the same type of priority.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
for us, honestly, we hadn't done this lately very much, but when the younger two go to bed,
Yeah.
that's our time.
That's our time.
And there was a season where we did it every single. It was Buffalo Dip, and it was Waterloo's,
Yeah.
Dr Pepper,
Yeah.
and Netflix.
Yeah.
And those that was our intentional time.
Yeah.
And it's weird that we haven't done it in the last week
Well,
or so.
I think the challenge is we live with our in-laws right now, and
Mhm.
so we're just not always alone. So, I mean, to that point, we just need to be a little bit more intentional with that.
Definitely.
But I've also lately just been reading before bed, and because I feel like that's helping me like go to sleep better. But that's totally a side note. That was free. But I would just say to you, like in talking about core memories, like building good memories together. Pursue them every day. Like
Yeah.
I said, it doesn't have to be anything big. Like you should know what your kids are interested in. Their interests change all the time. Side note, so does your spouse's, so you need to keep learning them over time.
Absolutely.
Your interests change.
Can I tell you something funny? I don't think I've ever said this to you personally. So I'm gonna stay behind a microphone.
Oh boy.
So your birthday is in December, and so is Christmas, and then our anniversary is in November. So every year about September, I get super anxious
Yeah.
because I know that gifts is your love language, and I had to beg you give me a list. And what's funny about you is that you don't ever want anything, which makes you kind of hard to buy for.
Well, I
And
do
so
want things. I just don't like spending money.
that's the thing.
So
And so because
yeah.
of that, I'm always like so if you see me in the fall, ask me how I'm doing. I'll tell you I'm anxious because she has not updated her Amazon list, or she already bought the thing that she wanted because she needed it. And
Yeah.
and so like to that point, learn your spouse, get to know your spouse.
Yeah.
I'm still doing that because gifts is like the thing that I'm probably the worst at. It's the thing. It's one of the gifts that you love.
Yes, but over time, I would say like helping me with things around the house, acts of
Acts of
service is
service.
also equally very important. Like letting me rest while you do something,
Yeah.
that's like, Um but yeah, I do think like we've covered like do the little things, mundane things around every day, but if you are able, I do think going on trips is worth it when you have kids in your home because we ask our kids all the time, like, what's your favorite memory of this? What's your favorite memory so far of that? And they always say,
The trip.
when we went there,
That's right.
when we did this.
And they don't have to be big, extravagant trips.
No.
We live near a couple of like Branson, Missouri.
Hmm.
We live near
St.
near Nashville,
Louis.
St. Louis. We
Yeah.
live near Hot Springs, Arkansas, which
Yeah.
is which is a nice little hole in the wall with a
Yeah.
small theme park. And none of those are expensive trips.
Yeah.
Some of them are day trips, one night trips.
Yeah, for sure. And little things like that, like we're going to prioritize this year because we just moved from Florida, so we went to Disney all the time because we had passes. And so now we're going to kind of prioritize now that we're in a part of the country where you can do outdoorsy things
Yeah.
in the fall and winter. We're going to do more hiking and more trails and go see the waterfalls and the
We
underground
are?
caves. Oh, we are.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll do it with the kids while you're at work. But
No, I'll go. I'll go.
we're gonna go explore more outside because my children need to learn not to be indoor cats. And so like it's small things and a lot of it's free. Like it
Yeah.
does like you can be creative, but they remember trips. They remember the memories where y'all were all together all day long.
Yeah.
They remember that. And so find ways that, listen, if you have questions about doing it on a budget, let us know because we definitely have to do it on a budget because I'm not working right now. And which is a sacrifice for our family for me to homeschool our kids, and we just see the value in that, and that I get to raise our kids all day long, every day. They're not gone for 8 hours a day, to someone else, and so. But to do that, we have to be a little bit more strategic and frugal. But those moments really do matter.
They do.
And so I would really suggest finding ways to make those things happen as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just say you create these good memories in your home by the things that you don't even maybe pick up on. It's the 6th game of Candyland for the day. It's finding a Lego piece that he's been searching for. It's playing dinosaurs and action figures. And you may think it's the most mundane thing, but that makes their day.
The point is that just be present.
Yeah.
Be present when you're with your spouse and obviously with your kids.
Yeah, and I think to that point there, it's important to note you got to get off your phone.
Mm-hmm.
We want our kids to get off of screens. You can't sit there and tell your kid to get off a screen if you're sitting there scrolling your phone.
Right.
Like we've had that happen before. Like one of us will be on our phone and we're saying, all right, screen time's over. And my daughter has said like, well, you're on yours.
Right.
And so like that, I can't say, what do I say to that?
It's
and
a good habit for us to just put it on the counter, put it on the nightstand.
Yeah, just because your habits are what your kids' habits are going to be. They learn habits from what your habits are. And so if you want to create good memories and moments together, if you want your kids to play well together, if you want you and your spouse to be more like best friends, then you've got to create space to make that happen.
Absolutely.
So very, very important. So that's really all I've got. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
Not really? Okay.
No, this is a good hard topic because it does require you to do some digging.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I told you at dinner, I'm not always great in this area because I have had seasons where I've been checked out. and I've been not present. I've brought work home. I've brought my
Mhm.
ambitions home.
Mhm.
And so I'm still learning
Mhm.
a lot of this too.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
won't say I've got this figured out in
Mm-mm.
the least bit.
No, and like I definitely I'm learning it in this season too, but I'm also seeing the fruit of it because this is the first time in our marriage with kids that I have
Yeah.
not had a job.
Right.
And I don't have something looming over me. I'm not my kids asking me to play and I'm like, "No, I've got to work. I've got to work. I've got to work" because I used to work from home, but I still worked. And so now it's been so sweet when my kids want to do something. Man, I've got nothing on this calendar that can't wait.
Yeah.
All of my to-do lists can wait till later,
Yeah.
and they're my top priority. And so that's been really cool.
For me, this season has been good too because my job's not as demanding as my
Yeah.
last job was, and so I really can come home and turn it off.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've enjoyed being able to do that.
Yeah, because a lot of times ministry jobs are not that way.
Most aren't.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for this season where
Yeah.
it can be.
Yeah. So I would just encourage you, like, if you're trying to figure out, there's still a little bit of summertime left. Create these good moments with your spouse. Create these good moments with your kids.
Buy a kiddie pool if you have to.
Yeah, it can be so cheap and inexpensive. It can be free things. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate or Pinterest worthy, social media worthy. But just like let your kids see that they're important, they matter, but also make sure you're doing that with your spouse too.
Yeah.
Because I think that's so, so important. So,
Absolutely.
well, thanks for coming on here again. I feel
Thanks for
like I'm
having
going to
me.
see you again
I hope so.
sometime on here in the near future. So.
Oh, okay. How near?
I don't know. I'll pray about it. So.
You have been listening to the Surrendered Podcast. I hope today's episode was an encouragement to you. And if it spoke to you, I just want to invite you to like this message, share it, comment, and I look forward to connecting with each one of you.